What up? Hey, what up? What up? Hey, what up? What up? Hey, what up? Hey, what up?
What up, though, YouTube? Welcome to Luke G's Field Review. Today we are going to be taking a hard look at the Detroit Lions salary cap, and what we're going to be doing is seeing who are the most likely cap casualties. This is not hard for me, because it's easy just to go through and look at it based on the money and figure out who's not going to be on this team. But what I want to do is kind of target who is the next man up to be released or traded, and the reasons why. So for me, Kenny Wiggins jump out the fastest. And the reason that is not because he's 30 years of age, but again, it's simply following the money. The Detroit Lions will pay Kenny Wiggins $3,125,000 to keep him on the roster. Now that only accounts for 1.7% of the cap. Okay, but if they release or trade him, they take a $375,000 cap hit, which is nothing, considering that they would save $2,750,000. So this is a guy who is as good as gone. The only thing I think that can save him would be injury. Next up, we have left guard Joe Dow. Now, Joe Dow is a very young guy, and when we look at Joe Dow, the one thing that stands out for him to have a chance is depth for our offensive line. However, he has been on this line for 2 years and going on his third year, and if they keep him on the roster, it will cost them $781,479. But if they cut him, they take a $61,479,000 cap hit to save $720,000. So I can see this being a guy that they may release if they're trying to free up some space to, say, add another person from free agency, or to do something in terms of the contract with somebody on our roster already. But he can also be someone that they definitely bring back. But as of right now, he's one of the cap casualties. Next up, we have running back Theo Riddick. Now, Theo Riddick has been in the league 6 years. He's 27 years of age, and he is more than likely going to be released. All signs point to it that he could be a huge cap casualty. And the reason for that is if he's on the roster, okay, for this season, he would make $4,625,000, which counts for 2.5% of our cap. Okay, but if they release him or they trade him, they take a $962,500 cap hit. Now you may be thinking, man, that number sounds big. Yes, to us small guys, but they will save $3,662,500. Okay, and what that tells me is this: they're going to actively be looking to trade or cut this guy. It may not happen soon. It could happen when it comes time for the 53-man roster, because we have to see what they do in free agency as well as what they do in the draft in terms of addressing the running back position. But the thing that's going to mess him up is if they mess around and bring back Zach Zenner, and then on top of bringing back Zach Zenner, they turn around and say draft a running back. Mr. Theo Riddick is as good as gone, and it's not for any other reason than the fact that, you know, the amount of money he's being paid does not match up to the production, and the amount of money that the Detroit Lions can save does not add up. Now we take a hard look at people who I think are going to be on the bubble. We're looking at Miles Killebrew, safety. And the reason we're looking at him is because, yes, he's 25, But this is a safety turn linebacker, and he's been very versatile. And this is something that the Detroit Lions like about players, being versatile. But when you go through and you look at the cap, it's only costing the Detroit Lions $864,641,000 to have him on the roster, which is 0.5% of the cap. It's not even scratching the cap at all. But if they cut him, they take $141,641,000 cap hit, and they save $720,000. The reason I'm putting him on the bubble is because he's going to have to show his value in special teams. And if he does not show his value in special teams, the Detroit Lions may get the feeling that, hey, we can move on from a guy like that and truly maximize our profits by getting anyone to come in who's willing to try to earn a spot. So that's why Mr. Miles Killebrew is on the bubble. Coming in the second spot is Michael Roberts, tight end. He's on the bubble for a number of reasons. Many of you probably remember the Thanksgiving game where we went against the Chicago Bears, and most of you blame Matthew Stafford for the final interception. Well, he was the sole proprietor for that interception when he ran a lazy wrong route, and so that rubbed them the wrong way. They continued to try to utilize him, but if you just go and look at the Lions past that week, he didn't get too much playing time afterwards because that truly upset the coaching staff. Now, he technically still have 2 years left on his rookie contract, and currently it's only costing the Detroit Lions $794,811,000 to have him on the roster, which counts for 0.4%. Now, you may be wondering, well, Luke, why is he on the bubble then? Well, he's on the bubble because if they cut him, they'll take $299,622,000 cap hit, but they save $495,189,000, and to me, that is significant enough for them to move on from a player who they feel won't bring anything to the team, and that it doesn't make sense to continue on to keep him on the roster for this year and the year after, seeing how it's going to come out to a total of $2,968,009. So to me, I see him as being a bubble guy. He's going to have to prove his worth big time. And if the Detroit Lions, which I believe they are, if the Detroit Lions are going to draft a tight end, now you're saying to yourself, can the tight end that I'm paying give me the same production or more at a better contract than what I'll be paying this guy? And the answer is simply yes. And just to give you a bonus, because I know it's news already, Nev Lawson has already been released, and I've said many times before and in many videos that do not fret. He is next up on this list to get cut, and as sure as the sun rises and set, it happened. Again, I simply just followed the money. It makes perfect financial sense. Rather than pay a guy $5,800,000, you save that money and take your small cap hit. So that's it for now, ladies and gentlemen. Please hit that like, subscribe, and notification button. And as always, don't be no chump. Please do your research.